Okay, we are back. We are back. Welcome to Get Rich 101. Get Rich 101. I'm your host, I'm Sacred Rights, and I'd like to thank New Thought Media Network for allowing me this space, this opportunity to grow. And I want to thank the doctors and everyone else for looking out for me because I am on my second stroke and I'm fighting every day, every day. And for those of you who can't see the stroke, you can't see the fighting. Let me let you know that the fighting is going on. Fighting's going on. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. All right. So that said, we're gonna get straight into it. We're gonna get straight into it. We're gonna get straight into it. So first of all, I don't have my notes. I was trying to get my notes together in time for the show. I didn't do it. So you're gonna have to brace with me because it's gonna be a little rocky. Maybe. Second of all, this. This is what we got to talk about. This that you did not see yesterday, that you see today, is what we got to talk about today. All right. So, first of all, mom, be calm. Be calm, mom. Be calm. Is nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. But let me explain the situation. So let me show you yesterday. This is a photo from yesterday. Yeah, that's me with my feet in the back of an ambulance yesterday. Yes, that's me with my feet in the back of an ambulance. And uh, and so let me explain. Let me explain what's happening here. Okay, after the show, well, before the show, I did my run very close to time for me to do the show. Very close. And so when I was getting ready for the show, I was still huffing. I was still out of breath. I was still off, if you will. So some of you picked up on that. And then when I mentioned that I have a text message going on, I mentioned that to you yesterday. But I didn't tell you who the text was about. The text was from Fee King, my fiance, and she was telling me to slow down. Now she's never sent me a text message during the show before, and I was like, "Ooh, all right, I better slow down." So after I got her message, I took a deep breath in, and I slowed down. And then I went on to do the show successfully. Everything was fine. Right? After the show, she talked to me more about this. She was saying, I'm making sure you're okay because of all these things that happened that made her uneasy. So I was like, all right, so let me double check that with Rev Mel. So I double checked with Rev Mel, and Rev Mel said the same thing, right? And so Rev Mel was like, maybe get a checkup just in case. All right. So I did. I did, but that's when things went crazy. That's when things went crazy. So let me start from the beginning because you all need to know this. You'll need to know this. If you are dealing with this person with a stroke, what you need to focus on is where they end up. You need to focus on where they end up. I learned this from the doctors yesterday, but let me explain. So I was shaky at the beginning of yesterday's show. I was shaky. And it was because I was still caught up from running so closely to time it was to the show. But mm, but having that little on guard off guard moment went away, and then I got better, and then I got better. I got better. That's the difference. Because what happened to me at Fisk University when I had the first stroke that I remember, it's one that took me out, one that gave me amnesia, one that took me out of walking, everything that just took me out. That one kept getting worse, right? So I was doing a speech, but the speech was getting worse, 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 right? In incremental moments. So I say that to say that if you are watching this show and you see me go sideways and you see me start to go down, you need to make a call. You need to make a call. But if you see me going up, I'm good. I'm good. That's just me dealing with the different parts of aphasia. Aphasia is my word for everything that happens that's wrong with the stuff that happens with the stroke things. So so that's what I deem important. Well, let me rephrase. So if I'm going up and my aphasia, just a little blip of aphasia, I'm doing something but I'm getting better, then I'm good. And if I'm getting worse, then I need some help. I need some help. So this is important for you to understand because number one, I have this show and the show is live. The show is live, right? Number two, because there might be someone else in your life. There might be someone else in your life that has this something going on with them that you need to look for. And what you need to look for is the difference between getting worse and getting better. That's plain, simple. Anybody can understand it. Plain and simple. Are they getting better or are they getting worse? So that's important. Okay. So anyway, after that, let me show you this. Let me show you this. Instagram, you're going to have to bear with me. Let me share this. This is just a little blurb from me walking out of the clinic spot. Okay, here this is a really quick clip. It's only 4 seconds. Here we go. They had shared that stretcher, the stretcher, and they stepped that stretcher, and were taking me through the space. So again, I thought this was funny. I thought this was funny. I thought this was a bit of an emergency reach, and it was an overreach for sure. What happened is my current doctor was not available yesterday, so I had to deal with a different doctor, and she wanted to defer on this side of caution, and she gave me a test, and I passed her test with flying colors, and she was like, I still think I ought to send you in an ambulance. I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, I think I'll just send you in the ambulance. So she packed me up, called the ambulance. Ambulance came. She saw them pack me up. And they took me to a hospital that I'd never been before. And all that took some time. all that took some time. But I'm chilling with the people who were doing the ambulance because I was cool because sidebar, one more thing. Aside from going up and going down, you have to be very, very clear what you feel. You have to be very, very clear what you feel. So by the time I went to the clinic, I felt fine. I felt like I was just, making sure I could check this off, say, hey, I went to the clinic the other day because you said just like check off. But I felt fine, right? So that's important because you need to know. You need to know exactly how you're feeling, right? So anyway, well, I'm in the ambulance and we're talking and we're just chilling. We're just having a ball. We're having a ball talking about this, talking about that. And I told them that I have a show because I was saying that somebody from my show, it was 2 people, it was Fee King and Rev Mel, that both gave me feedback saying that maybe I was having some slight damage or whatever. And they were like, you have a show? I was like, yeah, I have a show. And so that turned the corner entirely. So we're talking about the show, talking about Get Rich 101. Oh, yeah, Get Rich 101. He pulled up on a cell phone. He's like, is this you? This you? Yeah, that's you. Oh, shoot. He's following me. And he's following me on the Instagram, on YouTube, and sharing it with her. Like it became this whole full throttle thing. Matter of fact, I forgot his name now, but he pointed out that Get Rich 101 is active on YouTube. It's a personality on YouTube. It's got 60,000 followers, so it's a big thing on YouTube. So I have to choose something back to Get Rich 101. I have to go with Get Rich 102. Get Rich 102 to separate myself from their self. But that came from this guy sitting in the back of the ambulance. So he showed me this, right? And I had no idea. And I was like, oh, hey, it's interesting. So anyway, I say all that to say that my ambulance ride was fine. It was fine. I just figured they would check on me. I'd be back on my feet in no time. No. Now, this is where it got tricky. When they took me inside the hospital, this guy came up to me and said, could you raise your arms, please? And I was like, okay. He said, oh, I'm just checking you for weapons. I was like, excuse me, what? And he's like, yeah, like handguns, razor blades, anything like that. I was like, now that's me looking at the landlord, the landlord got me all mixed up, looking at the woman and drove the ambulance. I was like, listen, am I being dropped at the right hospital? Am I being dropped at the right hospital? Because this does not seem like the right hospital. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, oh no. I thought it right then. And right then I should have acted on it. So number 3, you gotta know your facilities. You must know your facilities. Don't just go up in a hospital and allow them to take you wherever is closest. You need to know whether you're sick now or not. You need to know what your nearest hospital is that's on your level. That's on your level. I do not want to be going into any hospital where they checking me for guns. Like, what are you talking about? Like, no, that's not my vibe, right? So I think that's important. I'm gonna say it one more time. Know your hospital that's near you. Know it. Like you should know it. Like you move into a neighborhood, you check off where the police station is, you check off where everything is, and you need to check and know where your hospital is, and go and visit. Take a few days off. Just go and visit because you need to know. You need to know. So anyway, that's it. That said, I let them check me in. I was feeling it though. I was like, oh, from the second I got there, I was like, oh no, this is not gonna work out. And anyway, they took me in, they did all the things, and I saw a lot of things. I saw a lot of things that made me uncomfortable. But I was thinking, all right, let's just get through it. Let's get through it and be done. Okay. It turns out that they gave me the test and I'm fine. As I said, I'm fine. They gave me the test, I'm fine. And they said they were going to run one test on me. Had I ever had a CT scan? And I was like, CT scan? I don't remember having a CT scan before. Now that my memory doesn't mean anything because, I had amnesia. I forgot a lot of things. But I was wondering if I had that before. So let me have that again. So I hung in there for that. And that was definitely a new experience for me that I remember from my memory. It's this tube, they pump it into you while you're in a MRI type machine, and it's warm fluid going inside you at the same time. Made me slightly nauseous for a minute. for real. It made me nauseous for a minute. And so I thought, okay, I've never had this before. And then I wanted to find out, but I want to hold on. I want to hold on to that to get the results of that. But the emergency room was. I'm trying to figure out nice things to say, but it was crazy. It was crazy, and there was always someone doing something. Yeah, that doesn't help me much, but let me just leave it with it was crazy. I'm just gonna leave it with that. It was crazy, and there were lots of people complaining to the staff. Right, the people that were complaining to the staff were always complaining about time. So I'm checking that off. I'm like, okay, they're complaining about time. Like, okay, like this is going to be a long time thing. Now, this was after church. I went. No, not after church. I'm sorry. After the show, I went. I went after my show. So we're talking like, after my show, Mel show, like 11, 12. When it got to be 7 o'clock, I was like, yo, 7 p.m. I was like, okay, enough already. Let's get somewhere. So I did what I could do to get the person's attention, but I was like, I'm just cutting loose because again, all I'm hearing around me are people complaining about time. And I was like, I'm out. I'm sorry. I cut the cord. I'm out. I just walked out. I walked out and went home and went to bed. Went to bed, went home, went to bed, just checked out. Now, again, Mom, don't be upset. I did everything this morning. I got up. I called the hospital. I said I was a what do they call that? Call those um, U.S. care, urgent care. I was an urgent care tenant last night, and I wanted looking for my CT results, and she referred me to the online thing that I hadn't noticed. But I looked online and I looked in my email and they sent the email to be set up on the system. And I would have all my results in it. So cool. So I got that set up. And then did my little run in this morning, did my run and ended my run at my clinic where I started this journey yesterday. I went in there and I explained it all to them, everything. I got everything up to speed from them, and I let them know that I walked out, that I walked out at other hospital, and that they need to get my CT results. But I let them know. I let them know that I completely walked out, and a little bit of why, a little bit of why. But honestly, the the I'm gonna just slide this in. I'm gonna slide this in. You've got to be willing to make a choice. You've got to be willing to make a choice because as I was sitting there for hour after hour after hour after hour, I'm watching all these many things happening. And I'm like, these are not good things that are happening. And you've got to know your hospital, but you've got to be willing to choose. This is my thing. This is my thing. If you don't feel it, it's on you. But my thing is, I need to choose the hospital where I need to be. Like not just knowing it, but feeling it. Like I need to feel comfortable with this situation because I can't be trying to find the right angle to get in between somebody. Like no, I need the right people. And so what this has inspired me to do is to find a nearby hospital that has everything that I need. So I'm gonna do that today because I need to find out where my hospital is, and so that if I ever need ambulance care again, I know where to go, and I knew to mark it down in my notebook somewhere to have to go to that hospital because that hospital I went to last night was not good. It was not good, and so So it's on me that I walked out, but I've been there all day, like 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Like that was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. And so I've set everything in. I've set everything together. I've got my doctor working on it and finding out the information, and everything's good. And so that's it. So I'll find out my information, and I'm sure that I'm fine. I want to know what this new test is. I want to know what the results are. But I'm sure that I'm fine. I'm sure that I'm fine. I'm sure that I'm fine because I felt fine, and my tracking is getting better, not getting worse, not getting worse. So yeah, so that's what I want to say. I mean, I could regal you all night with stories. I could regal you all day with stories because there was so many stories. Ooh, but I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go and move on because I want to talk a little bit about money. So Ashe, Ashe. Now I'm going to let that go. Let it go, Mom. I'm fine. I'm fine, and I am going to talk about money. All right, let's talk about money. Okay, so let's get to our affirmation. I am so happy and grateful to be a multi-millionaire in every area of my life. I am happy. I'm so happy and grateful to be a multi-millionaire in every area of my life. Ashe. I kind of messed it up a little bit, but you got my point. Okay, so let's just talk about money really quickly. I think what I wanted to say is know your money. Like know where hmm, you've got to know where to put your money. In the same way that you need to know your banking place. Don't just don't just move yourself into 401k because the company says so. Don't do that. Don't do that. I did that. I did that. I moved my money into 401k because the company says so, right? Yeah, moving into 401k. No, no, do not do that. Do not do that because you can do that and something is better than nothing. But what you want to do is you want to dance. You want to dance with the stock market. You want to dance a little bit. You want to know where you're putting your stock markets, where you're putting your stock market investment so you know that it's growing, right? And so for that, you need to know. You need to know. You need to know your your brokerage, just like you know your nearest hospital. You need to know which one you want to go to. You need to know this stuff. So this kind of laissez-faire, I do whatever with money, and it'll just come up and be flowing riches at some point. No, it's not. It's not gonna work that way. It's not gonna work that way. So I've learned this that you have to decide that you want to be wealthy. You have to decide that. You have to decide that. This is important because you can't just be like, oh, no, you gotta emote it. You've got to try. You got to say, I am wealthy. You have to keep that in mind, right? And in addition to that, you've got to, what was I gonna say? Ah, man, hold on. Ah, man, I had it good too. I was going so well. Well, alopecia. Oh no, alopecia, aphasia. Sometimes it gets you. Sometimes it gets me. It comes in and grabs my thoughts and scatters them scatters them away. All right, so let's just see who's commenting on the comments, and we'll take it from there. All right, Fee King. Fee King, my fiance, is lighting up the world. All these people she's she's been she's been um, tagging, been tagging. All right, and Oh, Fantina. Oh, hey, Fantina. How you doing? Let's see. Speaking is lighting up the world. All right. Okay. So that's all we got in terms of comments. So if you want to, I guess I guess if you want to find out more about what happened yesterday, watch my social media today because I'll be posting stuff on social media today. And just being uh I guess aware, aware of what happened and trying to be mm, uh, yeah, I guess I'll just be aware of it. That's all I want to say. That's all I want to say. Okay. So I'm looking at my phone um someone's calling me, but maybe it has something to do with this whole thing that I've set up with my doctor to find out. So we'll find out, and we'll just keep it moving. All right. And so I want to end this show the way I began. Well, the way I began to talk about money is that you've got to know. I said that before, but you've got to know. You've got to know, and the more you know where you are with your money, what you're doing with your money, the more your money increases versus decreases. If you want to increase, you've got to know where you are with your money, where you are and what you're doing. That's it. You have to know. And so I've been suggesting that everyone watching the show, take out 10% of everything you make, everything you make, and set that aside. Set that aside. Take out 10% of everything you make and set that aside. Now that's going to be hard for you. It's going to be hard, but trust me when I tell you, it's going to work out. It's going to work out. It's going to work out better than you think. All right. All right. All right. Let me see what Fee King is saying. I'm knowing my money works for me. I don't work for my money. Ashe. Ashe. That's a whole chapter of Think and Grow Rich. No, Rich Dad Poor Dad. A whole chapter of Rich Dad Poor Dad that I'll get into next. So anyway, I'm signing off now, and just a reminder that you need to know your your ambulance. You need to know your your hospital. You need to know it. You need to know it so that you can know where to go when you have to. All right. All right. I'll talk to you later. See you later.